Lee Proudfoot in that they have on Dragonfly,
the red one. The Rapide, which is leading the flight and is flown by
Mark Miller.
In my opinion, is probably the most beautifully restored aircraft in the whole wide world on this planet. This is the most extraordinary.
It's wonderful. It's just, even the pockets, the back of the passengers, have the flight the airline, it's wonderful.
And all the crew slots of the externals of the aircraft are aligned with the wind direction in order not to spoil the aerodynamics quality.
Now, the first of these was the Dragon. In 1932, Hillman Air A's had the Foxmoth. They wanted a larger twin-engine version. Basically a very simple design, plywood box fuselage, using the same type of engine and similar outer wing sections to the Hawley Moth. And this was known originally as the Dragon Moth, but was marked as the Dragon. Entered service in April 1933 and could carry 6 passengers. And on the London-Paris route, it full consumption just 13 gallons an hour.
And Henri Labouchere told me yesterday night that it flies just like an outhouse. No power, dirty aerodynamics. Like he says, they needed to rethink the whole thing and make the Dragon a Dragon Rapide, which they did.
Now, the Dragon had a capacity of up to 2, 6 and 10 passengers with a pilot sitting up in the front, powered by 2 130 horsepower Gypsy Major engines, the same engine as the Foxmoth and the Tiger Moth. And they were eventually put back into production in Australia because Australia were locally producing Gypsy Major engines, and it was an easier option to make the Dragon than it was to make the Dragon Rapide, which is powered by the larger 6-cylinder inline Gypsy Queen.
And now if you had some fortune and you had to add one, you could choose to buy yourself the junior version of the Rapide, which was a personal aircraft, good taste, beautiful looks, and this is a Dragonfly, the red one in the formation, which is flown by
Lee Proudfoot. Now the Dragonfly was first flew on the 12th of August 1935. Interesting, it had a plywood monocoque fuselage, very much a forerunner of the Mosquito.
Nightmare to build because of this wooden construction, and it was, well, a masterpiece, nothing less. While the Rapide, which is flown by Mark Miller, which is overhead now, turning to the left, was much easier to build. In fact, it was pure standard classical wood and fabric structure. If you wonder why they call them dragons, it's because Jeffrey de Havilland was an anthropologist on the Rapide when they fly, and look at the way their wings, when you look at them from certain angles, look like a dragonfly.
Indeed, the Dragon Rapide was designed in late 1933 as a sort of faster and more comfortable successor of the Dragon. So, as I said, they had the Gypsy 6 engine. First prototype was testing in April 1934. And over 205 were flown all around the world before the outbreak of World War II, at which point it was then renamed the Domini. It served all through 7 passengers in leather seats, and give them bath bags and shuttle them around Europe. But in fact, if you look at the schedules, published schedules of the time, it's extraordinary to find out that the planned flight time between London, which was Eastleigh at the time, Eastleigh Airport. No, London would have been Croydon.
Flight time.
This aeroplane came into Duxford about 20 odd years ago for an annual check, and it was here for 20 years being restored because so much was found wrong with it. They had to completely rebuild the aeroplane. They've done an absolutely superb job on that aeroplane.
The annual check lasted 20 years, in fact.
Yes, indeed, yes. And Henry's going around for another go, which is, if in doubt, throw it out on your landing.
Hey, so we can listen to the sound of the accurate in your flying, and that's why Mustang come into land. You know, the Spitfire come into land with this particular curved approach, which is very graceful. Well, the Mustang lands a bit like any aircraft of today. You come in straight line approach with cut down and get down, and that's when aviation changed in terms of flying style, if I may say. To the right end of the field, for some of us, old aviators are rising towards the sky, the T capital, aircraft, capital A. It's not noisy, it's not fast, it's not anything but it can still kill you. It's Her Majesty, the Piper Cub. The most important aircraft in history, the one which brought millions of pilots to the skies. The pilot maker, the Piper Cub. Makes you laugh. Wood and fabric and tube and think about that, 65 horsepower. Wouldn't even turn a Spitfire propeller. Fire range, so they had to remain very, very manoeuvrable. Now at the moment we have them just nicely tooling around. They're such a lovely aeroplane to fly. That's why they became too the pilot maker. No other aircraft in history was used to train, basic training, learn to fly, was used to train pilots and their Cub. Really millions of people learned to fly in Cubs. After the war, the American forces were not going to bring these back to the United States once the war was finished, because it would have been ridiculous. What do you want to do with it? So airfields all over Europe were littered with abandoned Piper Cubs. And so everywhere, in England, in France, in Italy, everywhere, even in Germany, Cubs were there. And so, well, would-be pilots and aero clubs and associations just had to pick one and that's it, go fly. And that's how private aviation, that's how basic aviation. Covered in fabric, wooden or metal spars, depending on the type, with pressed aluminium ribs. Very, very simple design, very easy to manufacture. And you can still buy all of the pieces for one of these. If you want to go and make yourself a Cub, you can just go to the catalogue and you can order all of the pieces and put one together yourself.
Well, they all have a lot of metal spars.
I'm trying to avoid town, and you do what? Less than half an hour of flight. You use 2 gallons or 1.5 gallons of fuel, and you land, and then you go to bed just like a baby, big, fat, and happy, and that's it. A Cub is a machine for just happiness.